Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Premier. The WSIB Experience Rating Rebate Program leads to claim suppression of workers injured on the job because it gives financial incentives to employers to file further claims not providing safer workplaces. Under the Liberals, claim suppression and chronic underfunding of the WSIB through drastic rate cuts paid by employers was already bad. But under the Ford government, it is getting worse. And now the Ford government is promising even more millions in giveaways to employer at the expense of workers' safety. And that's after the government has already cut $16 million in safety prevention resources and allowed even more self-regulation of important safety measures. These changes will continue to make Ontario workplaces less safe. Will the Premier reverse his deep cuts to workplace health and safety programs? Yes or no?
The questions addressed to the Premier.
Minister of Labour.
Referred to the Minister of Labour, Training.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As the member opposite knows, currently there is an operational review of the WSIB, which I look forward to receiving by the end of the year. But, Mr. Speaker, let me make it perfectly clear. Health and safety is a top priority for me as Minister of Labour, Training and Skills Development, a top priority of Premier Ford in our entire government. Mr. Speaker, I was proud to join with workers on Friday, with small businesses, medium-sized businesses and large businesses, Mr. Speaker, to introduce a first-of-its-kind program in Canada, Mr. Speaker, that's going to improve health and safety in the workplaces. Mr. Speaker, we are now going to move to recognize health and safety champions in this province who excel at improving occupational health and safety in the workplaces.
Response?
Mr. Speaker, this is a great day for workers in the province, and it's also good for business.
The supplementary question.
I'll certainly agree with the minister. It's good for business, not necessarily workers, particularly workers at Fair Foods or the young electrician that was killed on the job recently. Speaker, the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board was set up so when someone was hurt on the job, they didn't have to resort to the courts to get justice. No worker should be sentenced to poverty because they were injured on the job. Instead, the Liberals, and now this Conservative government, has treated WSIB like a slush fund for their well-connected friends. This government last week, announced millions in rebates for employers, taking money away that should be available for injured workers. At the same time, WSIB is refusing to cover injured workers' claims. It's going on all the time in Ontario. Why is this government carving out millions in WSIB funding to go to employers and not to injured workers?
Minister of Labour to reply.
Well, Mr. Speaker, obviously the member opposite didn't read the press release that went out last week. Mr. Speaker, this is going to improve the health and safety of every worker in the province of Ontario. Mr. Speaker, businesses get rebates when they improve their occupational health and safety program in that specific business. But, Mr. Speaker, apart from the announcement we made on Friday, the other exciting thing, Mr. Speaker, that's great for workers in this province, great for businesses, Mr. Speaker, is that on January 1st of 2020, we're moving to a new rate framework in the province of Ontario. Mr. Speaker, those businesses who improve health and safety, ensure a safer workplace for every worker in the province, those businesses will be recognized, Mr. Speaker, will pay lower rates. Those will be the health and safety champions that we recognize here in the province of Ontario.